Hello and welcome to another edition of the One Team We Agree On. I'm Jillian.
And I'm Kyle. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. How about yourself?
Not too bad, not too bad. We just got done listening to Jose Nunez. He was on with Kevin Kincaid.
Yeah, one off of It's Always Soccer in Philadelphia.
Yeah, so excellent episode.
hmm
We probably by the time you're listening to this, I don't know if we'll record tomorrow because it's getting kind of late, but we decided to record a quick recap because hey, we got some stuff going on. There's still soccer in Philly.
There is
Union 2 are heading to the MLS Next Pro Cup after a 4-0 win over Columbus Crew 2.
a 4-0 beatdown over
Yeah.
Crew 2. So,
So credit to Marlon LeBlanc um, and his players.
yeah, it was an incredible win, and we're going to get into that.
Yeah. So on today's show, we're going to talk about that match, and we're also going to preview the showdown with North Texas in the MLS Cup at Frisco, Texas. So before we get started, what are you wearing today?
All right. Well, the Eagles just won yesterday as of when we were recording this. Uh, they were the Kelly Greens and they won. So,
Hey.
uh, and I mean, Saquon Barkley with his little reverse hurdle that he did
Yeah.
was insane. So anyway, I'm wearing just a Kelly Green Eagles sweatshirt. Now I do have a Julian Carranza bootleg shirt underneath, but yeah, just repping the Kelly Green. And how about you?
I'm wearing a Philadelphia Raccoonian shirt. Hey, we'll save it for the end of the show, but we have fun things, so maybe move over Raquinho. Nah, I'm
Mm-hmm.
just kidding.
Yeah.
But hey, a lot to discuss. But again, before we get started, where can people find us?
All right. So on social media, you can find us on Twitter at TOTWAG. We're on Facebook and Instagram at the One Team We Agree On. We have our YouTube page, One Team We Agree On, and our website, theoneteamweagreeon.com. You can find me on TikTok as well at Jillian_Almany. Find us on our personal Twitter accounts as well. We're pretty active on there. I'm at silly double underscore Jilly, and you are at Coach Almany.
Yeah, so let's dive into it. Before we talk about the game on Saturday, you had a very special event. You volunteered with Youth Serve, which is a volunteer organization through the Philadelphia Union.
hmm
But also because of my position, I work with American Heart Association. They have heart walks all across the United States to raise money for heart disease research and just awareness. So they had one down there at right by what was it? Citizens Bank Park around
Right.
FDR Park.
Right.
So
They
why
had the
don't you
Philly Heart.
talk about your experience?
Yeah, so I participated in the Philly Heart Walk, which was held on Saturday. So the union through USERV, they had a team where you could sign up and be part of that. Tim McDermott was leading that. And so yeah, so I raised over $100 for that. It
Absolutely.
it was and thank you to if anyone's listening, thank you to the people that donated. It is a cause that's really important to me because sadly, I lost my grandfather. I was very young. I was not quite 4 years old, and my grandfather was 57, and he passed actually just right around Thanksgiving of that
Hmm.
year. He was out duck hunting in Maryland, and he had a heart attack and passed. So, definitely, I've always been very supportive of the causes for this, and our swim team actually supports American Heart Association as
Yes.
well. We do a thing called Swim for Life each year. So I was glad to do this, and this was coming exactly 8 weeks after I broke my foot.
Yep.
And so met down at in front of Citizens Bank Park. Bunch of I would say there are a good like 10 to 15 of us in that group, and so we did a walk that went through FDR Park,
Hmm.
and it is a 5K basically, but you walk. And I was a little unsure how it was gonna be with my foot because it still hurts a bit, but not too bad. And it held up really well actually. And we had wonderful weather. Um, and so I mean, all that was great. I will say this too. They had a little program right before the walk started, and they did um mention Holden Trent actually during that too. So um, there was like a moment for him as well. And Yeah, so basically, and supposedly Fang was there, but I didn't even see him.
Huh.
Yeah, a bunch of the mascots were there. Like I saw Swoop and I saw the Fanatic and stuff, but like, yeah, it's funny. Um, I got there just before, like it's just before the walk started, not too long before. So I don't
Okay.
know, but anyway, I was glad to be a part of it and raise money, and yeah, it was a good day.
So thank you all again for donating. I was actually going to join it, but I had a diabetes expo that I chair for Diabetes
Hmm.
Coalition. So yeah, I was unable to attend, but we did meet up and head back down to Chester
Yep.
later that day. So let's get into a little bit talking about Union 2 versus Columbus Crew 2. First, we got there about 30 minutes before gates
So we
opened
were
at
there about
5.
4:30.
Yeah, and the first thing I noticed is it was already packed. Lot G was packed to the bone. Um, and we heard from Skylar and Todd when they got up to press box, they had to park way out. So
Yeah.
already you knew it was going to be a huge crowd. And
Yeah, when they actually have park attendants for a U2 game, it's like,
yeah, I
oh.
mean, wow. Yeah, it was big. So that was exciting to see.
And
Uh,
yeah, and we have some pictures we'll
so
show
yeah,
here.
we're going to show a couple. So we're going to go ahead, get started here. Let's go down here.
Yeah,
And, and so first and foremost, we saw
the Bridge Brigade were
they
holding a tailgate
yeah,
at
they were,
the
and
lot.
it was packed. I mean,
Hey, there's you, Kyle.
there I am, my bald head. For those not listening, you can definitely see my bald head, me talking to Kyle the baby there.
Yeah. So there was a nice gathering there for the Bridge Brigade. And again, we've said this many times, but props to the Bridge Brigade for just creating such a groundswell of support. Like this is very grassroots
Yeah.
and it's just grown and grown and it's just been fantastic to see.
Yeah, I mean, just talking to Kyle baby, he was so excited. We talked to a couple other guys in Bridge Brigade. Everybody was excited. Shout out to Vince. He was there.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, shout out to Vince. He actually made some
yeah.
armbands to recognize Holden Trent.
Yeah, he posted them. And so all that said, the energy was good, and then we decided to head in a little bit, and there was already a line when we kind of got in for the.
Yeah, that's
So it's
about 5 minutes before they opened.
yeah,
Yeah.
so you have to wait in your line, and we had to go in, but everybody was waiting this line. You were like, "Hey, go to the other
Yeah,
side."
they had like the other side of it open. Like they had,
Yeah, like it normally is for game day.
yeah. Yeah, so we went around there, but it like was so good to see how many people were waiting and it did end up being a record crowd. So,
Yeah,
I think it was 4,000 it was over 4,000.
yeah.
So, yeah.
So that was that, and then there's us, and then here was a nice sun was going down a little bit,
Yeah, it was a
and
beautiful day for soccer.
yeah, saw some boats, some big boats.
Yeah, we did. We did.
Um, and so when the lines were announced, basically Marlon was staying with the high hand, pretty much no
Yep.
changes. Uh, and so we were watching warm up, then we think, and like I said, British Brigade went all out this year for this game. They had some banners. Obviously, they had the Holden banner from last game, but they had this. Welcome to your worst nightmare, which looks like it was like three groundhogs or gophers in like a bed that were like waking up. Which I'm kind of sitting there going, wait a minute, Columbus Crew's mascot is Crew Cat,
Hmm.
the cat. I somebody out there comment below, does Crew 2 have mascots? They're gophers or groundhogs or
I
something?
have no idea.
I don't either, but it was a really cool kind of little banner.
Yeah, they had a couple banners up too, because then I know in a later picture I have another one that they did.
Yeah,
So
they had the Kevin for Heisman because earlier that day
yeah.
during college game day, they had somebody had Kevin Sullivan for Heisman.
Yeah, that was an eventful day. So, okay. I mean, what a weekend for Philly sports figures, but of course, yeah, early in the day, Penn State had a stinker of a game.
Yeah,
And but there was someone in the crowd with a Kevin Sullivan for Heisman
that
sign.
was ridiculous. I was like, oh, come on
Yeah,
now. The
they
kid's 15.
yeah. Although Kevin did a Heisman pose with
I
the
saw it.
trophy at the end. which was funny. But anyway, um,
So here's some chanting going on. So this is after right after warm up.
yeah. So yeah, right before the game was starting, Bridge Brigade was going.
Sorry for the video quality there. So there was that. And then we had some other chants here. There's
That's just
not,
the crowd shot kind of
yeah,
from
because
down below.
you went down, take some pictures, and yeah, already even before kickoff, I was looking down up from the press box area, and I'd never seen a crowd like this for you two, and the energy was great. It
Yeah.
felt like, I'll be honest with you, there was more energy here than there was for decision day.
I was saying that like watching it, I'm like, this feels like more energy than the last Union game.
Yeah,
So, yeah, and the whole like that whole side from end to end was, full of people. They opened up the entire side there. And what I also appreciated was for the broadcast, they actually had the cameras on the other side of the field this
yeah.
time. So you could see the crowd in the shots.
And wasn't that the actual like union that requested that or something?
Yeah, and it's funny because anytime people like I've shown people like Union 2 footage, like, where's all the fans?
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, they're on the side that you can't see.
Hopefully next year they do that again.
Yeah.
So there was that, and then they did a little hype video. If you can't see it, because you're listening, there's a hype video you can watch on our YouTube channel. And
Okay, so the clip that we just played,
yeah,
I took that video. I thought this was great. So if you hear it was No Scrubs by TLC playing. I just thought it was well played as the subs for Crew 2 were coming on the field. They were playing No Scrubs.
that was, and then of course you heard the British Brigade doing their usual. Who are you? Who
Yeah.
are you? Who are you?
Yeah.
So I mean, overall, that was kind of the pregame festivities. Oh, we'll show this clip here real quick.
And then of course I cut it off before yeah, and then they introduced Marlon as well. But they upped the production there a bit, so that was good.
They did, and then finally, there was another little tifo there,
Hmm.
brought up. Apparently, it was for Godzilla Day or something was
Yeah.
going on, so they had a little.
I thought it just looked like
It looked
Fang
like
coming out of the
fag, but
water or
he made
something.
some posts yesterday or today about it. It was
Yeah.
like Godzilla World Godzilla Day or something.
Well, I thought it looked
So,
cool.
somebody correct me on that because I know I'm off on it, but yeah, that was cool. So anyway, yeah, that was really cool just to see those kids, get
All that hype.
all that hype. And like I told you, I had a little moment there just seeing like, guys like Eddie, Frankie, guys that we've had on this podcast,
Yep.
Neil, just having them podcast, now seeing them play in the Eastern Conference final, that was really cool to see. And just all the stories with all the players, Marlon, just one of those things. It's like, yeah, we do our best to remain, neutral when we're covering these games, but at the
Right.
same time, Like, these are some great stories. And
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
just thought it was a really cool moment just to see them all there.
Just really
Being,
proud to see them,
yeah,
like, what a season they've had. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, we're really rooting for these kids.
yeah.
And they've got great stories, and you can't help but just love this team, to be honest. They've been exciting to watch this year.
Which brings up a good question. Before we get talk about the game, Todd Lewis brought this up. A lot of people still will say, apparently, that, and we'd love to hear your comments, by the way, that the batch of Brendan Craig, Paxton Aronson, um, Jack McGlynn, Nate Harriel, that was like the high water mark for homegrowns. And
Mhm.
probably some of the old guys are like, "Ooh, there were some good ones early on." The point is, you look at this next crop, potentially, you got Kevin Sullivan,
Mhm.
all right, needs no introduction.
Yeah.
You have CJ Olney, you have David Vasquez,
Yeah.
you have Andrew Rick, all right. You're probably gonna have Neil Pierre.
Yeah.
You're probably gonna have Frankie. Frankie's made appearances with the first team. All
Yeah.
right,
Well, on the bench.
yeah, but that's what I mean. But
Yeah.
yeah, he's made the bench. Sorry. Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's seven players right there, and we
Hmm.
still haven't talked about people like, there's Nick Periano,
Hmm.
Oluwethu Makanya, you have Marcus Anderson. There's Eddie Davis, scored
Yeah.
16 goals this year. Um, and then you have somebody like even Gavin Wetzel, who
Hmm.
all of a sudden mid-season's come out of nowhere. And then we haven't talked about like half of the players on the bench, I mean, there's just a lot of really cool stories
Yeah.
out there. But so is this, I'm gonna lose. Do you think this next wave could be the watermark for?
Well, there's definitely the potential.
And that's what I want to bring up. Yep.
Yeah, I think the potential is there. Now, we'll see, but I look at a guy like Frankie and the way he's come on, it does remind me a bit of Nate Harriel, how he's
Correct.
gone. So, and it's just been incredible to see that growth and how he has emerged. And CJ only as well.
Oh, that's what I was just about to bring up.
Yeah.
CJ, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked next year, especially when you're in like the US Open Cup,
Hmm.
that maybe he starts getting minutes. I know Todd, you, me, and Jose were chatting about that. And that's a very good possibility. I could definitely
Hmm.
see him getting some minutes next year.
Yeah.
Vasquez, who knows? He's certainly impressed.
Yeah, I mean, he
I'm
was
sure
like
gonna get
the
some.
post away from having an insane goal
Oh
that would have
yeah,
been very, very memorable, I think, for that. But
and of course Kevin's gonna get some minutes.
and Andrew Rick, of course.
Yep, we'll see, bro. Andrew, now will he get? You know, I still think maybe somebody's probably gonna shoot me. Who knows? It could be Zemla could still be the backup
Hmm.
to Blake, and you try because Rick's gonna need playing time.
That's the thing. He needs playing time,
But
absolutely.
again, the way he keeps improving,
Hmm.
is do we really want another Matt Freese situation too? It's an
Hmm.
interesting question to ponder, but I don't know. I'd love to hear your guys' comments in chat. Um, when you're listening to this, please comment. Let us know your thoughts. Is this crop the best?
Yeah.
Um, Potentially, because that's just it. We'll see how these kids develop, but there is a lot of potential there. So let's get started talk about the game. So we're not going to have too many more clips. Maybe we'll post some post-game interviews and some celebration. But first and foremost, let's talk about this defense
Yeah.
because the defensive performance the Union to defense brought out of
Yeah.
the night. A team coming into this game and Columbus Crew 2 that had scored a plethora of goals. I think in first round they set some playoff record with goals or something crazy like that. And I think North Texas may have passed. I have to go back and look. Anyway, they were red hot. They beat Inter Miami. Then they went and beat who else did they beat? Then they went and beat Chicago Fire too.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, you know, um, they're red hot.
Yeah.
And, they've had going in the game like I mentioned last episode, back to back MLS Next Pro Cup appearances, and this was the third consecutive Eastern Conference final. And you're thinking, this is going to be a good game.
Yeah, and they'd already had three matchups.
Yep.
And so it was actually the first time it was the first game we were up in the press box
Yeah.
for that, and that's when Sal had the brace.
Correct.
So, so they won the match, they lost the away match. Well, I should say the first home match they won, and then they lost the away match. Was it like 4-2 or something, or
3-2,
three to
because that
two?
was Gavin Wetzel's first goal.
Right, right. Um, and and then of course they had a draw in August when it was home again. We weren't at that because it was a game we just couldn't make it to. It was like my first day of school.
Yeah.
But that was one where it was a draw, and then it went to there's a Cavan Sullivan Golazo in that game. Um, and it went to the PKs for the extra point,
Hmm.
and Union 2 won that. So, you know, this is a team that had scored goals against Union
Yeah.
2. So, it was going to be an interesting matchup, but for Union 2 to go in and have a shutout and just dominate them was, I wasn't expecting it to be that dominant, you know?
No, and really what stuck out to me was just the effort you saw from Frankie, from that whole back line,
Yeah.
Neil, McCanya, and Gavin Wetzel even,
Yeah.
that to hold Columbus Crew to one shot, zero on target
Yeah.
the whole night. Because, yeah, you can look at that and say, oh, Andrew Rick had a clean sheet again. Yeah, he had
Very little to
literally
do.
nobody. I think there was a couple like balls going in. He ran out and grabbed them. That could have been dangerous, but there really was not a lot even of dangerous chances. And even if there was, they were pretty much snuffed out right away. But that was a very convincing performance. And on the night, I thought that whole even the midfielders did just a great job of
Hmm.
um, neutralizing the Crew's attack.
Yeah, I thought Nick Periano was like all over the place. Like
He was.
he was on it.
And yeah, and there's somebody I forgot to mention. I mean, Perrion had a phenomenal game.
He really did. So, but that was real strong. And I really like when you're looking at the forwards, just that pairing of Marcus and Eddie, has been strong as
They
well.
have been strong. I still love to see Eddie have a goal. I'm
Yeah.
sure he would too. But yeah, that transitions in really nicely to the offense. I mean, we
Yeah.
saw it all night. The Union, especially down that left side. And I talked to Frankie, asked Frankie about that post game. CJ, Cavan, and him just continually pressing up that side on the
Hmm.
left hand. And, you'd see one go up, the other switch back, a slide
Yeah.
back, and vice versa, and just interchangeable. And it was really good. And
Hmm.
we'll have a clip of his answer with one of the most memorable things of this year for
Yes.
me. I love it. This could be a moment. But regardless, and then on the right side, you saw Gavin kind of really pressing up. Um, all night they were really just feeding balls in the box. And finally, a nice ball goes in. Eddie kind of deflects off of it, and Marcus runs right on and knocks that in.
Yeah. Nice cross from CJ to
Yeah.
get that in motion.
And then you had the second goal, which, okay, there was it deflected? Sure. But
But
Kevin puts that ball at the flex and kind of knuckles right in.
yeah, I mean, it was a shot from distance there and really strong shot at that.
And shout out to Todd Lewis for posting, like, it's true. Ryan Gretzky says, you miss the 100% of the shots you don't take. And,
Yeah.
and that was his chance where, hey, it was luck. He got a lucky deflection.
Yeah.
Ball goes in. But at the same time, I forget who it was like, oh, it was deflected. There's no way a tough would go in. Well, it was still a really nice shot.
Yeah,
So,
and I thought it was still looked on target and everything.
yeah.
So,
And then you had the third goal, which was beautiful,
yeah.
from Frankie in the second half.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that one really, when that ball went in, that's when I kind of was like, okay, yeah, this game's over.
Yeah, that one was really like the nail in the coffin there, I
Yeah,
think.
because that was just.
because you know what they say about 2-0 leads.
Yes.
And then I said to you, I'm like, um, they need to get a third goal.
And they
Feel
got
better once they get a third goal, and they did. So,
and then once that
yeah.
fourth goal went in, like you said, Vasquez almost had that
Yeah. So for that one, that was great. I mean, Vasquez almost has this insane shot.
like volley.
Yeah, like a volley, and it goes off the crossbar, but it deflects then to Marcus Anderson, who I have to give credit, like he's done a good job of being where he needs to be.
Yeah,
That first goal he had, and then the second one he had, he knocks it in to get the brace, and so that was great to see because I think Marcus has had such an up and down season. The poor guy
mostly
is,
with the
yeah,
injuries.
the injuries have it's just
And
been
then
a
we have the
shame.
Columbus thing.
Well, the Cincinnati, um, there's a Cincinnati game where with the first team that, yeah, um, when he gave up the ball and then Acosta scored and all that. But he also has been very good. And he was very good in the Portland game,
Right.
the away game that no one expected the Union to win. So, it's been very up and down, but I think he has a lot of potential. And I've seen that like from the beginning. Um, I like his work rate. I like how he follows up his shots. Like he is always putting pressure on there.
For sure, for sure. And he's been very impressive in these playoffs and just really happy for him. I know you talked to him after the last game.
Hmm.
So it's good to see that because the kid has some skill. That's for sure. So anyway, we'll share a couple more pictures because after that goal, that was pretty much it. Time wind down and
Yeah, so we got a
you
few clips of.
yeah, we got a few clips. We have
I
some
got some
goal.
of the celebrations and stuff.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the one here. Was this the one with, is this
This,
the
I
Frank?
think this is the Frankie
Yeah, I
celebration.
wanted to show this one.
Yeah.
So yeah, this one's loading here. We do apologize. Some of these. Yeah, this is cool.
Yeah, so if you're listening, basically, yeah, Frankie runs over and then he stands up on top of the wall there, right at the Bridge Brigade, and so
I love that. I
yeah,
love that passion. I love that drive from Frankie and just, for him embracing the Bridge Brigade like he'll say here in a little bit. That was awesome to see and, just him getting everybody fired up. I mean,
yeah,
that's raw emotion right there. So
mm-hmm.
that was a good one. And then want to take it down and just show some of the pictures from post-match here. We can share.
I have like the when they were given the
Yeah.
trophy right here.
Yeah, so yeah, we'll share that real quick here.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join us in welcoming MLS Next Pro Senior Vice President of Competition and Operations, Ali Curtis, as he presents the trophy to the 2024 MLS Next Pro Eastern Conference Champions. First, we want to thank all the fans here tonight that are watching on Apple TV. Your support is greatly appreciated. We also want to thank the Columbus crew on a hard-fought match tonight and are having a great season. And we want to congratulate your new 2024 MLS Next Pro Eastern Conference champion, Philadelphia Union 2.
What a moment.
One moment, yeah. So if you're listening, just again sharing that joy. Again, we say check out the YouTube because there's some really cool moments from that. So, and then here I just want to show this picture. This is the banner that they had on above Subaru Park. It says 2024 Eastern Conference Champions. That was a nice picture there as well. So
Yep, and then show this one.
show that one. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this Frankie running down to the Bridge Brigade
with the
afterwards.
trophy.
Yep, to
Yep.
celebrate. And Kevin there with him.
Yeah, and they pass it around a bit.
So I'm gonna say
Yeah.
something funny. So if you're listening, Kevin signals, I think, to Kyle. He's like,
Yeah.
"Give me a hug," and then you see a blue hug go to
Yeah.
Kevin. So Kevin's like over there, like, "Hey, give me a hug."
Yeah, they were giving all their hugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we can confirm that Kevin likes the blue hugs.
Yeah. Also, shout out also BR, of course, was in attendance.
Yes.
There's some great pictures I saw of like BR being hoisted up as well. So
Yeah.
speaking of black cats, yes, our cat Shadow is like
Yes.
a nut right here.
So that was really cool. So then we headed into presser. So
Yeah.
we're gonna share those real quick here and just kind of wrap up the show a little bit. Share some comments. So you went first.
Yep.
And you first asked Marlon his thoughts.
Talk about the emotions you're feeling right now, knowing that there's still work to be done, but knowing you just won the Eastern Conference title.
Proud, and I could care less about next week right now. Going to enjoy tonight. These guys we talked about, they deserve to be here. They earned this all season long. But again, like there's very few times you walk off the field as a coach satisfied, and I walked off today satisfied. And we've won a lot of games this year and played really well. But this is probably the most satisfying performance that we've had this year.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was, thought that was great because, as we're coaches, we can really identify with that. There's always things that we think, okay, well, this could have been a little better. We could have done better here,
Right.
but it was, just such a satisfying went top to bottom. They really did have it covered.
They really did. And I thought your follow-up question, talk about your follow-up question
Yeah.
as we load this up to Frankie.
Yeah. So I asked Frankie then, who was also on the podium, about, um, well, you can play the question. You can
Yeah.
Just talk about the support from the fans in the Bridge Brigade this season. I know I saw you went over and showed them a lot of love tonight. So.
I mean, yeah, it's been great, especially at home. You can tell they're always loud, they're always here, even on the road. I think they came out to in New England, which is far. But yeah, it's been great, and every time they're there, they're always pushing us to be better. It's like playing a man up, so they're always pushing us, and they're great to have. So.
Yeah, so again, credit to Bridge Brigade for really bringing it. And I know for a fact a bunch of people are traveling to the MLS Next Pro Cup in Texas. So I'm sure, I mean, obviously it's not going to be like the 4,000 people
No.
that were at the game, but I know even if it's a small crew, they're going to be loud and they're going to be obnoxious. They're going to bring it. They're going to be great.
Which brings up a real quick point I want to talk about. Eagles are in town. So if
Yes.
you're going to the Eagles Cowboys game in Arlington, which is about 45 minutes to an hour away, and you're not doing anything on Saturday night, go to the game.
Yeah.
Pack that
I
stadium.
think
If you're
tickets
never-
are like $20 or something.
Yeah.
Not much.
Yeah, even if you've never even been to a Union game, go out and support the city.
Because who doesn't like kicking Dallas's butt?
Exactly. So, speaking of that, then I went, and my first question to Marlon was talking about the attack a little bit, and just because he said they played a perfect 90-minute, near perfect 90 minutes. What, we've heard Jim say it, so I asked him his question. Marlon, congratulations. Tonight you scored 4 goals. You kind of mentioned walking off that field, feeling proud about the team, especially in attack. What were you guys doing to really put Columbus back on their feet?
Yeah, we had a pretty good match plan today. We knew we could get RH really going, in particular David and CJ, and a lot of our attacks started with them. And then the ability to just flood numbers forward. We really flooded numbers forward. This guy coming forward on the left. Gavin, not as much, but certainly got forward on the right as well. And then next thing you know, you start pulling guys towards them, and it opens up like a cabin in the middle of the field. Marcus and Eddie were outstanding. And the ability to play into their feet was on a lot today too. But in particular, we knew we could get at them in certain areas of the field. I thought we were really disciplined against the ball. We pressed pretty well. We counter pressed really well, and then we got them on the counter where we knew we were going to be able to break. And so those are about as union of goals as you're going to see, right? And it was electric when we went forward. We felt like there were probably times we could almost score every time we went forward. But yeah, I mean, this guy with an absolute banger. You got lucky. No, just kidding. What a shot he took. Yeah, great performance. Great performance. No complaints whatsoever.
And so that's the thing. Like, I love that question because that was a big thing. You saw them pressing up numbers all night. I mean, and then when Columbus would have a thing and they get a turnover in the midfield, you can go right back on the attack. And that's really what we're seeing. Now, I'm sure the plan will be a little bit different for North Texas. Be
Yep.
interested to see what it is, but it's a really good answer. And then probably my favorite answer, I asked Frankie, about the relationship. They were attacking that left side all night, kind of like what Marlon alluded to, but I wanted to ask him just basically about the off the field, how the off the field basically how that works and helps the players, that bond they have on the field. So I'll play that clip and listen for one of my favorite bits.
Yes.
So for you, talk about you, CJ, Kevin on that left side going up really high there, but the switch off and communication there. How during the course of the season relationship as friends, how does that play into it? Just knowing where each of you guys are. Just talk about like how you were able to break Columbus's defense down tonight.
Yeah, I think it starts off the field as well. I mean, getting to know each other. Our chemistry is great. Our chemistry is great on and off the field. And I think when we're together off the field, it just pulls us together even better on the field. And when we have those little moments where we're kind of breaking them down, I feel like we can even do a better job, even taking it a step forward. So yeah, just off the field, just getting to know each other as well, and our chemistry is just outstanding. So.
Yeah, if you can't tell, they have good chemistry.
Yeah. First off, that was like the longest winded question I ever gave. Because every time I would ask, like I had this train of thought, and I started talking about it. He's like, "Credit for you not breaking down." Like I was laughing inside, so like I kept going and probably could cut my question. But having said that, it was funny because even before we asked that, you heard some people in there doing that.
Yeah.
But even while Frankie's talking, I don't know if you heard the guys, whoever that was. We want to know who that was.
Yeah. Okay. Like seriously, I want to know who it was.
But yeah, again, just this part here. I need to play this again. This is my favorite. You, CJ, Kevin on that left side going up really high there, but the switch off and communication there. How during the course of the season relationship.
Okay, and so for those who aren't aware, basically the press conference room is like right next to their locker room. Like there's like these double doors or whatever, and so you can definitely hear. Like they had to tell them to turn down the music, of course, because they were celebrating. We could hear all the music they were playing and everything. But yeah, one of the players, calling through there during the press conference was hilarious. We're all like just dying in there.
No, but at the end of the day, it does bring up a good point Frankie's brings up about, we think we could take it to the next level. Well, here's the thing. You're going to have to take it to the next level because, again, because you won, you're now heading Frisco to play the best team with the most points in the league over this year, and that is North Texas, Dallas's second team. And to me, you always hear about MLS academies. We hear about the union, whether they are the best or not. But Dallas has always been up there in that conversation as well. So here are two of the better academies. Now their second teams are now making an appearance. And, Marlon brought up last time about, some of these MLS second teams used to be, we're going to have like the first teamers that aren't play that second game. Now you're starting to see a lot of these homegrown academy kids, maybe guys that just aren't ready for first team yet. And kind of, they were talking about a little bit tonight. Jose and Kevin Kincaid were talking about it.
Yeah.
Tonight about with the Columbus reference. So it is interesting. Again, go listen to that. But getting to the point, here you're going to see some really highly skilled kids that have chemistry for some kind of like with Kevin, CJ, and Frankie. So yeah, a little bit about North Texas. 62 points. They had the highest goal differential in the league.
Mm-hmm.
They scored 50, I forget what it is, but there's 24 goal differential. But I think they were second. They gave up second or third least amount of goals this year. Um, they have not lost at home at all this year. Now, that was at that where the old Arlington ballpark where the Rangers used to play. It's
Mm-hmm.
not called that anymore, but
Choctaw Stadium.
Choctaw Stadium, whatever it is. But they are good at home. And
But they haven't played Union 2 yet.
they haven't. Their goalkeeper, Michael Colati, was named goalkeeper of the year, and Nico Gordon, one of their defenders, was named to the best 11
Mm-hmm.
with Colati. So, I mean, look, this team is going to probably be one of their toughest challenges. But hey, like we said all along, Marlon said it, we've said it, a lot of people covering this team have said it, sports have said it. This team is resilient,
Yeah.
and
They're gritty and
and they have the talent to compete with these people.
they do.
And so, hey, we'll see what happens. We will be there.
Yeah, super excited. My only time in Texas was, I don't even know if you can count it because I was in a layover at Dallas Fort Worth Airport on the way to Acapulco on a training trip for my college swim team. It was like my freshman year in college. So it's been a while.
Yeah, and I was there last year. Um, when I was down in Dallas for swim coaches convention, went up,
Hmm.
saw the stadium, went, and I forget what episode it is. If you go back, I think it's around September. It was in the Union where it was like during like a off week or something like that. But anyway,
Yeah.
long story short, I went towards Soccer Hall of Fame, and that episode is on our archive, so you can see what that's like.
Hmm.
But that's the thing, where they're playing at Toyota Stadium, the Soccer Hall of Fame is in there. The video game Hall of Fame is right across
Hmm.
the freeway on the other side. There's a lot of restaurants, bars,
There's the
hotels.
Dude Perfect headquarters
Dude,
right by
perfect
there.
headquarters there. There's a
Yeah.
lot right around that stadium.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be hanging out there. We're actually staying at a hotel right now, right near, like
Like,
literally we can walk to the
yeah.
stadium. So a lot of good options, affordable. If you can find a flight, that's gonna be the biggest thing right now. If you can get a flight, there's a lot of affordable options. But we hope to see you down there. Let us know if you're down there because we might do a little meet and greet or
It's like a meetup of some sort.
yeah. So we'll keep you posted on that, and I'll be having a travel blog as well coming out later this week. But before we get out of here, one last thing for tonight. We were having some fun with this. We all know about Raquino.
Yeah.
Um, so we were leaving. We're talking with Todd,
Yeah, we were in Lot G.
and we saw this.
Forget Raquinho, we have a fox.
Yeah, there was just a fox hanging out in G Lot.
There was. So, is that the new replacement for Raquino for
Well,
Union 2? It's like Todd the Fox.
yeah, I said we're calling it Todd, and shout out to Todd Lewis because he's like, yeah, so Todd me, like
Yeah.
Todd means fox. Yeah, it's like,
Because they're all standing there like, is that a fox? That's a
yeah,
fox.
yeah,
Just a random fox.
yeah. So I've seen a lot of foxes lately. Unfortunately on the side of the road, like deceased, in our area, but beautiful creatures. So yeah, I was like, oh, more wildlife.
So
So
we've seen raccoons and foxes.
they've had cats there, of course.
Um, but anyway,
Yes.
so uh we'll be back next week, see how the Union make out in the MLS Next Pro Cup. But and then we'll probably get into some of our year-end stuff or what if season 3 and then some interviews we got coming up. So we got a lot of all season content. Obviously we'll have the season and end of season presser with Ernst and Jim at some point. But figure till this point, hey, let's cover Union 2 because there's still soccer right now, at least this
Hmm.
week. Still Union 2 soccer to talk about. So this has been all for this episode of the One Team We Agree On.
yeah, make sure to like and subscribe and leave us comments because we love hearing from you. And check us out on our socials and keep in touch.
Yeah. Until next time, I'm Kyle.
I'm Jillian.
We'll see you at the game.